Alright, the third time will be the charm on this video. I will keep doing it until it decides to actually work, because this is too important for me to not talk about. Because I've been getting a couple of messages today from a couple of different people. Now, obviously, I don't live in Massachusetts, so I can't confirm these have actually been on the news. So if you live around the Boston area, or you live anywhere where you've heard these similar stories told by the media, please confirm that with me. Because I don't have cable TV. I don't feel like being programmed by a bunch of mass media liars and propagandists. But if you don't think at this point that all these things have to do with gun confiscation, listen to this. And this is just one of a couple of the comments or emails I've gotten today on what they've heard on the news about this tragic event that happened in Boston, which, by the way, is Patriot Day today. How ironic, especially when they say, and I find that funny, that if a person like me was to say, oh, the government did this, well, people will say, oh, well, how do you know? Or, you're crazy. How dare you say that? But the news, I guess if you have a microphone in your hand with a fancy little number and a couple of little letters on it, I guess it's okay to speculate. But one of the groups, they said, and I quote from an FBI guy, said, could be an extremist group inside the U.S. pro-gun crowd. Did anyone see anybody with guns today? Was there any shootings? Or was it an explosion? A very tragic event, by the way. 2 people, at least from as far as I know, got killed, and several people injured, and God knows how many people, freaked out, and we'll never forget about that. It's 9/11 Part 2, just without buildings. So why are they talking about extremist groups inside the United States, pro-gun crowd, when there was nobody there with guns? It wasn't a shooting. If people can't see now how obvious it is that potentially the government is either utilizing this event and taking advantage of a tragic situation, or created the event, financed the event, or at least knew about this event, and they're trying to use it for gun control. Oh, that's crazy, Chris. That can't happen. Our government wouldn't do that. Well, then if you're saying that, that's telling me you haven't researched a damn thing in history, and you're just going based on what you feel is right. Well, just because you feel it's not right does not make you right. Let me give you a couple of examples that I know that my subscribers will verify and check, or at least know about. But the regular mainstream people out there won't even bother to even take the effort to look up and confirm or deny. Let's look at Fast and Furious. You don't know about that? Check it. And it's called Operation Fast and Furious. Don't mistake it for a movie. Let's look at the Batman shooting. That didn't get gun confiscation. So they tried the Sandy Hook event. I know, God forbid you talk about that, because, it's a conspiracy, even though the definition of conspiracy means that more than 2 people conspire to do something. But let's believe what the media says and make it seem to be some crazy thing. So now all of a sudden, let's go to today's tragedy. A bomb explodes. 2 bombs explode. And they're talking about pro-gun crowd in the United States. In other words, American citizens. They're trying to turn everybody against each other for gun control in an event that had nothing to do with guns. If you can't see how blatantly obvious it is at this point, your head is so far in the sand, you must be shitting dust. Pardon my French, but this annoys me, because I know my subscribers get it, and people that came to this channel because they have a feeling about it get it. But the average person out there, the 99% of the people that only care about American Idol and what's on television, don't give a rat's ass. And we're having some serious times here. And I want you to think of the irony if they planned it this way, because there is some symbolism with this stuff. You think it's crazy, it just means you don't research. But where was the bomb, the first bomb? It was right at the finish line. Right before the end of the race, before people finished. It was right there. Now, what does that symbolize? Well, if you hear anybody talking about what's going on in the world, about potential collapse of the economy, and how we're ending to very bad times coming up, especially what you've seen in Cyprus, and what's going on with the gold and silver and the stock market and the Bitcoin crash and all that other stuff. And we're coming to these very difficult times, and that's saying through symbolism, if they were actually smart enough to place it that way, that we're almost to the finish line, and just before you cross it, all of a sudden, there's something that prevents you, stops you before the finish line. People need to start getting angry. People need to start questioning. Because when was it something that became bad when it comes to questioning things? And I know some people will sit there and type their little words anonymously and say things like, oh, I guess everything's a conspiracy theory. Well, then again, I guess I can say the opposite and say, well, I guess nothing is a conspiracy. I guess everything is just coincidental. Nothing's done for a purpose, even though if you check history, it's been done several times. I guess it couldn't happen now because our politicians and our bankers and all the people in the Fed, the media, they're nothing but honest and truthful. They wouldn't lie to you. They wouldn't tell you stories. They wouldn't give you inaccurate information or false information. They don't make mistakes. That's crazy. So why would they do something like this? Why would they talk about guns when it had nothing to do with guns? Think. Stop and think. Don't react. Don't just hear. Listen in and think for a moment. What is the purpose of them talking about gun control? Because it's all about fear. Fear equals control. Because they want people panicked. That's why they were given all different bits of information all throughout the day. And so people are confused. They're all worried. They're all scared. And they want the saviors who actually potentially caused the problem to come save them. Problem, reaction, solution. Works like a charm every time. And the people, the 99%, follow it hook, line, sinker. When they disarm the citizens, you're going to regret the day you decided to ignore this, ridicule it, attack it, whatever. You know. And it might not be you that suffers. It might be your kids. It might be your grandkids. But please, call people like me and others who try and help people by educating and trying to awaken them. Please, call us crazy. Call us conspiracy theorists. Say all these nasty things that you say. Because that's really helping the situation. Because if you think I'm the problem, then you need reevaluation of life real quick. And that's why I get passionate about this, and that's why I won't stop talking about this stuff. And that's why I don't ask for advertisements. I don't ask for donations. I don't do any of that crap. I don't do it for that. I do it because people need to wake the hell up. They've been talking about possible problems with North Korea. Do you think that's just going to be a couple of drones they're going to send over and launch a couple of missiles? That could be potentially a hell of a lot worse. You want to take that chance? Keep ignoring this. But this is all plain and simple about gun control, and either they caused this event, or they allowed this event, or they took advantage of this event. Because this had nothing to do with guns. But they want to turn Americans against Americans. And I'll tell you right now, you know who else was a bunch of right-wing extremists in this country? They were called the American Revolutionary Army that fought against the British. They sure were right-wing extremists. They sure believed in guns. Good thing. Otherwise, we'd have one hell of a British accent right now. You do what you want at this point. I know my subscribers get it, and I know the people that will come to this channel will get it. The rest of you who are here because somebody tried to care enough about you to show you this stuff, you'll never get it. And what I don't understand is why you won't even verify it. Check it out. Research it. What are you, afraid of the truth? You afraid of finding out you've been lied to? On the television? With television programming? Nah, that's just crazy. Don't believe that. Believe your government. Believe your politicians. Believe the media. Because after all, they've done nothing but help you and make your life better, haven't they? Peace.